Hytale news keep coming with the former CEO of Hypixel Studios replying to people on Twitter regarding these negotiation talks with Riot Games to buy back the game after being cancelled. Someone asked him, do you intend to invest in Hytale, aka have access to the IP even if it's owned by Riot and continue the project, or do you want to actually buy the game? Where he replied, just the IP. Not the business, it's a much simpler transaction. Where I was kind of confused, what does IP mean rather than the game? Will he actually get the legacy engine and all of the assets that come with that? And Simon replied, you can buy everything to run the game and continue development with a simple purchase agreement. No shareholders, complex dog water agreement. IP means intellectual property. It can be code, art, name, etc. People think Hytale is a lot, but in reality, a large percent of the company is worth in its people, but there's none anymore. The people is what matters, especially for an unfinished product. Also, the legacy engine is not cross-platform as well. So this makes all medium or big studios not really interested. The new engine is far from playable. It's in a poor state all around, not a great value anymore, which is interesting to hear because in the previous blog post that we had about this new engine, we were hearing a lot of positive remarks, not only from the playtest, but from the team themselves. Simon is saying that the otherwise is true. It's only worth something to those who previously worked on it and have a team that has experience with it to be able to keep going, which happens to be me and my new hires for the past few months. I also have potential people lined up if I acquire the IP, which is regarding the old original development team that was around in 2018 and 2019. This statement alone about the IP makes me feel a lot more confident than previously about the chances of Hytale actually getting saved. And someone replied to him saying, seems like this could increase the 1% chance, because that was the number that was given to us previously. If all you need is the IP and no other studios want it, wouldn't it be in Riot's best interest to sell? Seems like it would go to waste if you just hold on to it. And I see your guys' comments, you're saying the exact same thing. If Riot is just gonna hold on to this and do nothing with it, why not just sell it for a few million and at least recoup some of the losses, which Simon agrees with. Yes, this makes this scenario the only decent option for Hytale as a whole. However, keep in mind they busy making a ton more money and are closing down projects left and right. And this is a reference to Riot Games shutting down a lot of other operations, firing a whole lot of people, including the Hypixel Studios team. So this could be seen as a distraction and not worth their time. Hopefully, a simple IP agreement is enough to make it easier on them and get a good end to this chapter. I'm already working on backup plans. Whatever happens, I'll keep trying things. So if he goes to Riot, proposes to them, says, hey, I want to buy the IP, and they say no, he still has some other things in the background. What that means, I'm not sure. Maybe you guys know in the comments how else he could get back the IP, maybe some renegotiations and changing the terms and condition. But even if that initial proposal gets shot down, he's still willing to fight for this game. And just for some context, in case you guys are curious, someone said, do you plan to invite people to join you the day you speak with Riot in person? Former developers, YouTubers, etc. And you just said, it's not like in the movies. It's just a call and purchase agreement. Because I'm sure a lot of people were thinking of the big boardroom table with Simon sitting on one side, the CEO sitting on the other, and a lot of people in between making the negotiations and nodding their head. It's not like that. He's just gonna send an email and go from there. And the other question a lot of people had was, okay, well, how long are these negotiations gonna go on for? When might we be able to see an answer? To which Simon says, negotiations wouldn't last long. It's the initiation of talks that can take a while to start because everyone's busy, and the agreements drafting is the real time sink. I've been through an investment and 2 sales for Hytale. I got some experience and understanding of how long it can take. However, an IP purchase agreement is much more simpler than a company investment or sale. He is not trying to buy back Hypixel Studios. That studio shut down and will probably never see the light of day again. He just wants the assets that were underneath the Hypixel Studios brand, which is Hytale, and he'll start his own studio or use the studio he currently owns to manage Hytale. And because he said this IP agreement wouldn't last long, we can probably expect an answer within a few months. My personal guess is October. That might be a long stretch or even too optimistic, but I think 2 or 3 months is a realistic guess for how long these type of negotiations would go on for. If you've been around in the community for a little bit, you might have heard discussions about voice chat, especially proximity voice chat being in Hytale and it getting shot down by the former game producer of Hytale. Well, someone asked Simon what his plans and thoughts were for voice chat, to which he said in 2017 and 18, they did an experiment with proximity voice chat. I was a big believer in this feature. Recently, I see Roblox and Fortnite went with it. It's almost like the early vision was actually going in the right direction. Crazy, isn't it? Hugo, a big Spanish YouTuber, said proximity voice chat is huge for minigames and funny experiences with friends. Think Repo or Among Us. Those minigames would have been huge in Hytale, which he said, yes, that was my thinking back in 2016 and 2017. It opened so many new doors to gameplay experiences, which is far before any of these, I guess we'll call them friend slop games, were around. It kind of sounds like Simon was a visionary in this example, where he thought about voice chat, especially proximity voice chat, back in 2016 and 17. And someone said if Hytale had launched when it really should have been, we would be talking about a game that was ahead of its time. But now, well, and he replied, yeah, I feel like it's kind of a missed opportunity. Lots of great, unique features are now common in many other games. And while it's sad that Hytale won't be spearheading a lot of these features anymore, we can still hold out for hope that it does come out and eventually create brand new experiences that we'll talk about for years to come. I personally think that the Save Hytale movement is getting stronger and more realistic than ever before. I know I say in every single video that, hey, until Simon talks, this might be my last Hytale news video, but it seems like he cannot stop talking, which means neither can I. So if you want to keep up to date with Hytale news and everything that the former CEO has to say, as well as the eventual confirmation or denial, then you will want to subscribe to this channel to find out. There's one more thing I want to leave it off on, and it's kind of sad news. The Hytale website is really breaking down. If you go to the hytale.com website, a lot of the images are not loading, and if you try to click blog, the blog page is completely dead. So while there is a revival chance happening, we are seeing our baby basically crash down right before our eyes. You know, I thought that was going to be a more fun fact than it really ended up being, but if you want some fun, there's my Discord linked down in the description. We have some of the most active Hytale community members, as well as a channel dedicated to Simon's tweets where people have notifications on and immediately post anything he replies. So my Discord is the best way to stay completely updated with anything regarding Hytale. I'll see you guys in the next video.